recognized manner of marriage prescribed in the scriptures. As stated in the Vedic scriptures, the first class process is to call the bridegroom to the home of the bride and hand her to him in charity with a dowry of necessary ornaments, gold, furniture, and other household paraphernalia. This form of marriage is prevalent among higher class Hindus even today and is declared in the Shastra to confer great religious merit on the bride's father. To give a daughter in charity to a suitable son-in-law is considered to be one of the pious activities of the householders. It's called Kanya Dan or Kanya Daya. There are 8 forms of marriage mentioned in the scripture, but only one process of marriage, Brahma, law by exchange of garland by age. Formerly, at pleasure, Kshatriyas would kidnap a princess from another royal house, and if the kidnapper was the winner, the girl would be offered to him for marriage. Even Krishna married Rukmini by that process, and some of his sons and grandsons also married by kidnapping Krishna's grandsons. Krishna's grandsons kidnapped Duryodhana's daughter, which caused a fight between the Kuru and Yadu families. Afterward, an adjustment was made by the elderly members of the Kuru family. Such marriages, even current in bygone ages, but at the present moment, they are impossible because the strict India has become dependent on foreign countries. The particular influences of our social orders have been lost. Now, according to the scriptures, everyone is Sudra. The so-called Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas have forgotten their traditional activities. And in absence of these activities, they are called Sudras. It is said in the scriptures, Kalo Sudra Sambhava. In the age of Kali, everyone will be like Sudras. The traditional social customs are not followed in this age, although formerly they were followed strictly. So, prayers. Om Ajnanatimrandasya Gnananjanasalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatkrupatamam Vande Sri Gurum Dhenataran Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Iswaram Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhayeva Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Dadati Swapadantikam. Shri Rupa Goswami Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai. We are reading from the Devahuti and Kardam Muni's, specifically the marriage of Kardam Muni and Devahuti. And we have to go to the context, how this has happened here. The qualifications of the bride and bridegroom is being, Vidura is asking how this great sage, such a great sage, how did he marry and how did he increase the population? And he is following the guidance of Lord Brahma. Is following Kardam Muni specifically under his guidance to increase the population. Then, first of all, he has performed 10,000 years of meditation, yoga practice. By his practice with the devotion, not just yoga, 8 mystic perfections. It is mentioned in Canto 3 before, chapter 21, verse number 4. Tasyam savai mahayogi yuktayam yoga lakshanaihi. Sa sasarja katida viryam tanme susrushave vada. How many offspring did the great yogi beget through the princess who was endowed with 8-fold mystic perfection yoga principles? Oh, pray, tell me this, I am eager to hear it. So that both of them, Kardam Muni was a Mahayogi, and Devahuti is also Yoga Lakshana. Prabhupada explains. Husband and wife, Kardama and Devahuti, were advanced in yoga practice. Husband was a Mahayogi, great mystic, and the wife was a great Yoga Lakshana, or one advanced in age, one advanced in yoga. They united and produced children. Formerly, after making their lives perfect, the great sages and saintly persons used to beget children. Otherwise, they strictly observed the rules and regulations of celibacy, brahmacharya. Following the rules and regulations of celibacy is required for perfection of self-realization and mystic power. There is no recommendation in the Vedic scriptures that one can go on enjoying material sense gratification at one's whims as one likes. At the same time, become a great meditator by paying a rascal some money. So this is very first and foremost very important point. What is the context of these great personalities, Kardam Muni and Devahuti, and how ideal grahastha life they are engaged in is not just simply they want to enjoy, they don't want to produce any children they like, but rather they are strictly following the guidance of the Shastra and Sadhu and Guru. And before this, also before he was even Swayambhu Manu bringing the daughter Devahuti, Kardam Muni satisfied the Lord Brahma following his direction, and then he performed his process of devotion service, yoga, and also devotion service. By that, he was satisfied to such an extent that Lord himself personally appeared. And then after that, only this is happening, where Lord personally ordered, basically, by his desire, Swayambhu Manu brought the Devahuti to arrange this marriage. And that is what is Kanyadaya has been mentioned here. And we'll see Prabhupada explains himself about his own experience from his own family, his sisters, and in his own life, how the marriage has happened. Also, Prabhupada explains in one of the verse. And before that, how Lord appears, beautiful description is given by seeing his devotion. Manye dana vijana rupa tapasruta ujas. Gaja yota paya, as we are reading earlier. The only way we can satisfy the Supreme Lord is by devotion service. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching the same principle that Nadanam na janam na sundarim kavitam va jagadish kamai mama janmani janmani isware bhavatat bhaktir ahaituki tvai. We have to have that unflinching faith on the spiritual master and previous acharyas, ahaituki tvai, without any other motives. Then only we can actually satisfy. So then, as Prahlad Maharaj is also mentioning the same point of Manne Dana Vijana Rupa Tapasruta Ujas Yoga Balabuddhi Purusha Buddhi Yoga Na Aradhanaya Pavanti Parasipam So Bhaktyat Putosha Bhagavan Gajutapai. There is no other way to please. And the Lord appeared with this beautiful description has been given in the before verses. Tavat prasanno Bhagavan Pushkaraksha Krite Darshayam Asatam Chatta Sabdam Brahma Dadat Bapu. In Satyuga, the lotus side Supreme Personality of Godhead, as Valmiki Muni meditated 60,000 years and Kardam Muni meditated 10,000 years. This is the process. Always the Yuga Dharma has to be followed strictly. The Shastra has to be followed. And we'll see from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructions clearly how Lord Krishna appears in the Shastra and Guru. And Chaitya Guru is there as super soul. Tavat prasanno Bhagavan Pushkaraksha Krite Yuge Dad Darshayan Asatam Chatta Sabdam Brahma Dadut Vapu. In Satyuga, the lotus side Supreme Personality of Godhead pleased himself, showed himself to that Kardam Muni and displayed his transcendental form, which can be understood only through the Vedas. That's why it's called Sabda Brahma. Satam Virajam Arkabam Sita Padmotpala Sarajam Snigda Nilalaka Prata Vaktrabjam Virajo Ambaram. Kardam Muni saw the Supreme Personality of Godhead who is free from material contamination in his eternal form, effulgent like the sun, wearing a garland of white lotuses and water lilies. The Lord was clad in spotless yellow silk, and his lotus feet with fringed with slick, dark locks of curly hair. Kiridinam Kundalinam Sankha Chakra Gadadaram Sveto Pala Kridanakam Manas Parsha Smitekshanam, adorned with a crown and earrings, he held his characteristic conch, disc, and mace in the three of his hands, and a white lily in the fourth. He glanced about in happy and smiling mood, whose sight captivates the hearts of all devotees. Vinyasta Charanam Bojam Mamsa Deshe Gurutmata Drustva Ke Avastitam Vaksha Sriyam Kaustuba Kandaram, a golden streak on his chest, a famous Kaustuba gem suspended from his neck. He stood in the air with his lotus feet placed on the shoulders of Garuda. And so in this way, we can see that how Lord personally appeared to please Kardam Muni because of his intense devotion towards the Lord, and to especially to follow the previous acharyas. Guru Bhakti, Acharya, Nishta was there. So by following Lord Brahma, then he followed this process of yoga. Jata Harsho Apatan Murdhna Ksito Labda Manorata Giriviti Abhya Granat Priti Swabhavatmakatanjali. And Kardam Muni actually realized the Supreme Personality of Godhead in person. He was greatly satisfied because his transcendental desire was fulfilled. He fell on the ground with his head bowed to offer obeisance unto the lotus feet of the Lord. His heart naturally full of love of God. With folded hands, he satisfied the Lord with prayers. So that is the first pretext, the context of this, how Kardam Muni, we are getting it. Mother Devati brought by Swayambhu Manu and is offering in marriage, and then here Kardam Muni is mentioning that by following the Vedic process, let your daughter be married. So that Kanyadha process. So always Kardam Muni is always following. Devati also will see that after that also. Rather, she was feeling that she couldn't follow 100% of devotion service when her husband left, Kardam Muni left. And then he took shelter. She took shelter of his son, Lord Kapil Dev, and then taking instruction from her. So this is the etiquette. This is always the highest principle. Always must be followed. Janani nasasyat, guru nasasyat, pita nasasyat, namo chaye samupeta mrityam. The highest principle is always how to deliver ourselves from this conditioned life. This is the responsibility. One must take responsibility of the Acharya or Guru. Otherwise, why we are here in process of bhakti? To enjoy ourselves? That is not the process of bhakti. Is not for that purpose. That is called karma, gnana, yoga. Yes, you can enjoy with those things. But as soon as you say bhakti, it is only meant to please Guru and Krishna. There is no other thing about it. Bhakti means it is only meant to please. So that's why one must have that unflinching faith to please Guru and Krishna. As we can see here, Kardam Muni and Devahoti always want to please Guru and Krishna and following the Shastra. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is instructing Sanatana Goswami in this very, very important principle. Maya Mugdha Jiver Nahi Swata Krishna Gnana Jiver Krupaya Kaila Krishna Veda Puran. The conditional soul cannot revive his Krishna consciousness by his own effort, but out of causeless mercy, Lord Krishna compiled the Vedic literature and it supplements the Puranas. Shastra Guru Atma Rupe Apanare Janana Krishna Mora Prabhu Trata Jivera Haya Gnam. The forgetful conditioned soul is educated by Krishna through Vedic literature, the realized spiritual master and the super soul. Through these, he can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead as he is, and he can understand that Lord Krishna is his eternal master and delivered from the clutches of Maya. In this way, one can acquire real knowledge of his conditional life and can come to understand how to attain liberation. So that's why always we have to be on the guidance of the Shastra and Sadhu and Guru. So that's why we might be a great preacher, we might be thinking great preacher, great devotee, or we might be trying to follow our own plans and ideas and desires. But that is not the process of bhakti. Minute we think we are great, then we have lost, because unless, that's why Kunti Maharani is praying that I am the most fallen. If you think you are the most, you are the Bandhu, then you must show your mercy to me, because I am most fallen. She is always thinking meek and humble. When will Lord will give his mercy? When one is thinking that I don't have any qualification, I am so fallen, really feeling it in the heart, then Lord will give mercy. So that's what is the qualification, as we can see from Bhaktivinoda Thakur's prayers. So that's why we cannot think, we have to depend on Guru and Krishna always. On the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that's why he's teaching this. Veda Shastra kahe sambandha videya prayojana Krishna prapya sambandha bhakti prapyeha sadhana. The Vedic literature gives information about the living end, his eternal relation with Krishna, which is called sambandha. The living end is understanding of the relationship and is acting accordingly. It's called abhideya. Returning home back to Godhead is the ultimate goal of life, is called prayojana. Abhideya Nama Bhakti Prema Prayojana Purushartha Siromani Prema Mahadana. Devotion service or sense activity for the satisfaction of the Lord is called Abhideya, because it can develop one's original love of Godhead, which is the goal of life. This goal is the living and is topmost interest and greatest wealth. Thus, one attains the platform of transcendental loving service to the Lord. Krishna Madhurya Sevananda Praptira Karana Krishna Seva Kare Ara Krishna Rasa Aswadana. When one attains the transcendental bliss of an intimate relationship with Krishna, he renders service to him and tastes the mellows of Krishna consciousness. So in this way we can understand that process of devotional service. Lord himself is expanding, is coming as Shastra, and is expanding as Chaitya Guru, as Super Soul, and as a spiritual master. So that's why we must always be guided by the Shastra. We will not know what is Shastra, what is Shastra's instruction. Only we will know if we follow the guidance of the spiritual master. That's why we have to be under the direction of the authority and spiritual master. Then we'll be able to actually please the Supreme Lord and satisfy him and satisfy his represented pure devotee. Now let's see what Mr. Prabhupada is mentioning about this Kanyadai, as in this specific verse is describing about that aspect. It is the duty of the father to hand over the girl to the nice young boy to take her protection. When the woman is protected in childhood by the father, when she is grown up, girl, youth, although the father is ready to give her protection in every respect, but he has developed by that time sex desires. Under the circumstances, it is the duty of the father to hand over the girl to nice young boy to take her protection. So that is what is the Kanyadai. Prabhupada is mentioning. I remember, because my second sister was going 12 years before that. Practically, I'll say in our childhood age, my sisters were married between 9 to 12 years. My eldest sister was married when she was 9 years old, before my birth. She is the eldest. And my second sister was married at the age of 12 years. And my third sister was married at the age of 11 years. By the 12 years, the marriage must be finished. That was the duty of the father. I remember, because my second sister was going 12 years, my mother said to my father that I shall go to the river and commit suicide. The daughter is not married. You see, the father was very sorry. Yes, I am trying. What can I do? And the next generation, I was also married man. I was married when my wife was only 11 years old. At the age of 14 years, she gave birth to first child. In next generation, when my eldest daughter was married, at the age of 16 years, it is a little increased, but I was also very much upset that the daughter is 16 years old. But now things have changed. Nobody cares whether the daughter is married or not, but that is not good. Another difficulty is everywhere, all over the world, the female population is greater than, on the average, than male population. So in this way, Prabhupada is explaining himself about this system of how always women should be, or girls should be married at a proper age. Nowadays, this is not properly followed. Obviously, this cannot happen just like that. One needs some sukruti. So getting married or having children, all these things require a lot of sukruti. Especially for one wants to engage in devotion service, he requires a lot of bhakti unmukha sukruti. Esham antagatam papam jananam punyakam te danda moha nirmukta vajante mam dodovata. Unless he gives up his sinful activities at this first layer of sinful layer, he cannot come to Krishna consciousness. He will take up all other demigod worship and all other process. He will never come to Krishna consciousness. That is the first layer of sinful activities. Then another layer of sinful activities are removed. Then he may surrender to spiritual master at that point. So that's there is every layer, the anardhan nivritti. Then after initiation, also there is anardhan. So layers and layers of sinful activities has to be removed when we have become pure. Always and that purity will come only by the association of the pure devotee. When we are fully dependent, 100% dependent on Guru and Krishna, we don't have any independent plan. Otherwise, what is the use? Why are we surrendering to spiritual master? We are taking initiation. If you have your own plan, why do you need Guru? You don't need Guru at that point. Because if you need Guru, then that means you shouldn't have an independent plan. You should follow the Guru's plan. Because you're already thinking that I have this plan, I will do this, I will do that. Then you don't need Guru. You're not depending on Guru and Krishna. If you are depending on Guru, then you have to hear and you should follow his plan. Don't create a plan that I will go and stay here, or I will do this, I will become a sannyasi, or I will become this, I will become that. And that means you have your own independence. You're not depending 100% on Guru and Krishna's plan. What his desires are. So that's what we have to understand. What is the desire of Guru and Krishna? What he wants us to do. Only we closely observe and hear, and note it down and implement what Guru is instructing us. Then we will know slowly and clearly. That is what first class disciple is. To understand the desires of spiritual master and follow it before even him instructing us, we'll be able to follow and put it in practice and implement and execute it. Then Guru will give his mercy, 100% mercy, and he will rather pray to the Lord that here is a great devotee who is carrying out my instructions without me instructing. He understood my desires. As Rupa Goswami was able to be on that level, he could understand the desires. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahi. That's why we have to sincerely pray before you start any service to Guru and Prabhupada and Rupa Goswami. They are the leader. They know exactly how to dress the deity. They know exactly how to make the garland. They know every service, how to please. All the services must be to please Guru and Krishna only. If we have our independent plan to do any of these services, then it's not going to be really pleasing to the Lord. So that is what here we can see from this verse, that how Kardam Muni followed exactly as per the Shastra and exactly as per the Shastra. He wants to get married. He doesn't want to get married in any way, like because he wants to enjoy. That was not his purpose, rather. So that is the instruction of Kapila also to Mother Devavati later on, that how she was thinking that I'm too much engrossed in enjoyment. I didn't take really association of my husband. He was a great devotee, but he could see the Supreme Lord, but I couldn't. I really didn't take his association to fullest extent. Where I was in different mindset, trying to enjoy. She was thinking that even though she was very much qualified, she was an exalted person as well. प्रकृष्ट प्रसंगम अजरम पासम आत्मनो कवयोविदो मोक्षद्वारम अपावृतम. So Kapila is describing, instructing Mother Devahuti later on that by simply taking the association of pure devotees and following their instructions, only that is the only way will be able to actually really deliver ourselves. Anardas will be kicked out when we have dependent on all other things, worldly things. We are not dependent on Guru and Krishna. There is no way to be delivered. Anardas will never be kicked out. We don't have capacity. So that's why the soul and body are two different things. Body is always looking for enjoyment. Always. As whether you are devotee or sannyasi or first initiate, second, doesn't matter. Always. Body is always looking for enjoyment. And the soul is always looking for eternal happiness. If the soul, this eternal happiness, the bhakti, in this world only we can get up to actual prema, but the process of devotional service starts in the spiritual world. So this eternal happiness of the soul, we cannot obtain by our own strength. We don't have any adhikar. That has to be obtained only by Guru and Krishna. So that's why we have to utterly dependent on Guru and Krishna, as Kunti Maharani is submitting, as Narada Muni is submitting. Throughout Srimad Bhagavatam, that's what we see. Vidura Muni is submitting, even though they are already exalted person, but they are thinking they are less qualified. They don't have any qualification. They are completely submitting to the spiritual masters and authority. So that's why they are able to get Krishna's mercy. They are able to see Krishna or his pure devotee. Otherwise, there is no possibility to come to that. And we'll sing this song as it is described in this verse of Gurudev Kripa Bindu Diya, where it describes what is the qualification one must actually have. One must think. Gurudev Kripa Bindu Diya Koro Dhase Trinape Katihina Sakale Sahane Baladiya Koro Nijamane Spruhahina Sakale Sammane Korite Sakati Deho Nata Jata Jata Tabe to Gaibo Arinama Suke Aparade Hai Behata Kabe no Krupa Labi Jana कृतार्थ होइबे नाथ। शक्ति बुद्धिहीना मी अति धीरा, कोरे मोरे आत्मसाथ। Last verse is very important. योग्यता विचारे किछु नहीं पाया, तुम्हारा करुणा सारा। करुणा ना होइले कांदिया कांदिया, प्राणा ना रखी गो आर। Translation: Gurudev, give to this servant just one drop of mercy. I am lower than a blade of grass. Give me all help, give me strength, let me be as you are, without desires or aspirations. Second, I offer you all respects, for thus I may have the energy to know you correctly. Then, by chanting the holy name in great ecstasy, all my offenses will cease. It is described in Sri Rupa Goswami's Padyavali. One must have unflinching faith on Guru. If at all we think Guru has left the planet, or we don't, Guru is not with us or not close by, because it's very difficult to be in the association of Guru. How will we get Guru Bhakti, unflinching faith? Even through the chanting in Padyavali, there are a few verses, or one verse specifically, describing about how by submitting to the Nama Prabhu, the holy name, the fully submitting to the holy name, also we can attain Guru Bhakti. Holy name will reveal himself, herself to us to develop that attachment to Guru and attain that Guru Bhakti. And so that's the holy name is also very important. Third, O Lord and Master, when will such mercy fall to this one who is weak and devoid of intelligence? This should be our quality. We should be thinking this way. I'm always weak. Allow me to be with you. Verse number 4. If you examine me, this is yogyata vichare kichu nahi jane, kichu nahi paya. If you examine me, you will find no qualities. Your mercy is all that I am made of. If you are not merciful unto me, I can only weep, and I will not be able to maintain my life. The last fourth verse. Yogyata vichare kichu nahi paya, tumar karuna sa. Karuna na hoile. If you don't give me mercy, kandiya kandiya prana na rakibo. We should be really crying and praying. This should be our everyday business. Not to, when we are in the temple, when we are doing something. No, it should be everyday crying for to receive the mercy, to receive the instruction, to actually have the spiritual intelligence and strength to carrying out with unflinching faith and unmotivated, uninterrupted devotion service, enthusiastically carrying out till our last breath, to just give our life and soul to Guru only, nothing else. No other desire should be there. That should, by that prayers and crying every day, then Guru can take us back, and we always keep in his shelter and keep us in his service. So that should be our perfection. Otherwise, again and again, we will continue this life in this material world. Thank you very much. Already 7:02. Ramra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai.
Haribol, thank you. We'd like to wish you all a safe and Krishna conscious day and weekend ahead. We'd like to offer our prayers to the Supreme Lord by chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram,
Ram
Hare Hare.
Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna,
Hare Ram,
Hare
Hare Ram, Ram
Ram,
Ram, Hare
Ram
Hare.
Ram, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare Hare.
Hare Hare,
Hare Ram, Hare
Ram,
Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Hare.
Shri Nrsimha,
Jai
Jai
Narsinga, Jai
Nrsimha, Jai
Narsinga,
Jai
Jai
Nrsimha,
Narsinga,
Prahlade, Jai
Prahlade,
Padma
Jai
Mukha
Padma
Padma
Mukha Padma Bringa,
Bringa.
Ugra Veeram,
Ugram Veeram
Vishnu
Vishnu Jwalantam
Sarvatam,
Sarvatam,
Rambecharam Bhadram,
Narsinga
Vishram
Visharam
Vishram
Bhadram
Namyam.
Nityam Nityam Namamyaham.
नरसिंह भगवान की जय,
Jai.
साध महाराज की
Jai.
Let's offer our humble obeisances to all the Samal Vaishnavas. Vancha
Vancha
kalpatarubhyascha
kalpatarubhyascha
Patitanam pavane bhayo
Vaishnavebhyo namo
Namo Namah Vaishnav.
Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila
Jai.
Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Gaur Premanande Hare.
Hari
Hari
Hari Bol. Thank you,
Thank you,
Krishna
Krishna
Manju.
Namananada
Thank you
Pr.
everyone. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hari Bol.